Hey folks, we are recording at Chainlink's SmartCon event, and joining me is Larry Wade, who is the Global Head of Compliance and Regulatory Relations for Crypto at PayPal. Larry, great to have you.
Tony, it's great, man. Great to be here. I'm a big fan.
Thank you, Larry. And PayPal is doing some amazing things with crypto and blockchain technology. Before we get into all that, tell us a bit about your background and how you got into crypto.
Okay, so I am a bit of a nerd, but I'm also an ex-college jock. So, give me a little credit there. How did I get into crypto? So I went to Columbia for my MBA. And one of my classmates, one of the smartest guys I've ever met, he was ex-military, but also a commodities trader for one of the big banks.
Interesting.
And every quarter, we kind of have these dinners. We have a topic. So this is nearly 9 years ago. The topic was Bitcoin.
Wow.
Now, I am, over 20 years in the risk management field, right? So
Sure.
credit risk, operational risk, reg risk, et cetera. And, I'm like, this feels like tulips. I don't get it. Though, again, I'm a nerd. So I've tried to read, and unabridged audiobooks count as reading, at least 4 books a month, and I've done that over 20 years.
Wow.
And when you do that, one, you learn there are moments in time that things really change.
Yeah.
2, you will never know everything.
Right.
And 3, have that childlike curiosity because you never know what might just come your way.
Sure.
So when we had dinner, I said, all right, I'm willing to hear you. He said, Larry, I think this may be an adoption rate of a new asset class.
Yeah.
He's like, and this technology is interesting. It's like, I'm trying to figure it out still, but you should look into it. So then I started thinking, okay, I had done an engagement, we were auditing, one of the large foreign bank SWIFT operations. I'm like, okay, when it came about, it definitely was beneficial, but
Right.
we're talking the 70s here, right?
Oh, sure.
So, I can send an email to Singapore instantly, but I can't send value.
Right.
Or, you can kind of track what's happening in this kind of internet world, but from a value transfer perspective, there's still times where you don't know who owns what, et cetera. So I got to see that. So I was like, this is interesting. And then he also says something that really hit, in that his daughter said, Daddy, why would anybody want to touch money? And I said, wait a minute, this is also kind of a demographic play here as well,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So I went home and I read Satoshi's white paper, and I was blown away. I said, this is one of the most brilliant things I've ever read in my life.
Yeah.
How do you solve the double spend problem? How do you have a trustless transaction in a digital environment?
Right.
And then all of a sudden my mind went crazy because I started thinking about how I grew up.
Sure.
And if it was not for the internet democratizing information, I would not be here.
Right.
But we still have not democratized value.
Yep.
And I can make an argument that democratizing value is a bigger play than even information, because even if you don't know anything, you need to transact value.
Yeah.
So then I read Blockchain for Dummies. And I said, oh my goodness, public blockchain, semi-private, private, smart contracts. Anything that's if-then is probably going to be a smart contract. I went down the rabbit hole. And at the time, I was a management consultant at one of the big fours. And I went to the senior partner I was aligned to, and I told her, I said, look, I think this is going to be something.
Right.
And I said, there are 2 areas I think there'll be a lot of value. One is on the engineering side, being able to deal with the cryptography, the smart contracts, et cetera. That's going to be something that I understand, but that's not my specialty.
Sure.
I said, but on the risk side, I said, I think we will see inherent risk we've never seen before. I said, how do you handle a fork? This is back when, forking and all these things were happening. I said, well, how do you handle these things? I said, I want to try to be one of the experts in that.
Right.
And to her credit, she's still a mentor of mine today. She says, as long as it doesn't mess with your client work. At that time, again, I'm consulting for Wall Street banks, asset managers, card companies, et cetera. She said, I support you. So I was able to kind of help develop some of the early blockchain and crypto risk and compliance methodologies for one of the big 4.
Wow.
Got laughed at a lot. A lot
Wow.
of people told me that, I've seen this before. This stuff doesn't make
Waste
sense.
of time.
But when you put the hours in,
yeah,
that's when you realize, yes, there's a lot of hyperbole and nonsense, but that's every new innovation.
absolutely.
But it solves real problems.
Right.
So from there, I studied it every single day.
Wow.
And I, again, would, in my spare time, give talks to my CFO clients. I will watch podcasts like yours. I remember your early days. And I just dedicated my kind of life to figuring out how can I do my part to democratize value and really try to help the world in that way. Because I think the velocity of value transfer, the velocity of activity, it could be very beneficial.
Absolutely.
So fast forward, finally, got up to that, getting into the partner level, and work hard, you do it. And this opportunity at PayPal came about.
Wow.
And, Dan Schulman, the prior CEO, had some foresight in that he believed in stablecoin technology.
Yes.
And to get there, you had to do some things. You had to have an exchange. You had to have on-chain transfers. You had to open the PayPal wallet. You had to do all these things.
Right.
And we had this roadmap, but it went from a deck to here's a startup within PayPal.
Wow.
And, I won't go through the whole long story, but I was fortunate enough to be employee one to build out the risk and compliance strategy for PayPal's crypto group.
Incredible.
And it's been an amazing journey.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by where we are right now.
Sure.
The tailwinds are just unbelievable. We're still super early.
Yeah.
But I think, this is really a thing now. That was a very long-winded answer.
No, that was great. What a journey. And, one thing that stood out to me, you spearheading at one of the top 4 accounting firms, blockchain and these things. And what is it like looking back to see all of Wall Street and all the big banks getting involved now?
It is something that I thought could happen. I took a big risk because of, your partner at a big 4, that's not a bad life.
Right.
But my goodness, what we went through. You think about it from the various, and fair enough, a lot of what happened in our industry was tried and true Wall Street shenanigans, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whether it's fraud or commingling of funds or lack of segregation of duties or opaque financial instruments with leverage. This is stuff we've all seen in the risk management space.
Yep.
But it could have really sunk us.
Sure.
So the fact that the industry is so anti-fragile, it made it through that.
Yes.
And now we can get on the other side where those incumbents are saying, okay, maybe there's some value here.
Right.
I'm excited. I'm blown away. Yeah. I'm thankful that I have a little bit of a head start in my knowledge base. I'm thankful PayPal does as well. We were the first to launch a regulated branded stablecoin.
Yes.
And I'm really, really excited to integrate it into real world commerce.
Right.
And I think that there will be a number of winners. I think in PayPal's case, we have a very clear mandate right now. We have a 2-sided network with almost 400 million wallets in 200 countries.
Yeah.
We have merchants and consumers.
Right.
That is what a lot of organizations would love to have as a base. We've built our muscles the last 5 years on, how do you actually interact on chain in a regulatory compliant manner?
Oh, sure.
And now we can start having fun to say, all right, how do you launch a product like Pay with Crypto? Yeah. How do you have a product like we have where, bill pay with stablecoins? How do you have PYUSD rewards? So now we're saying, all right, there are existing flows that faster, cheaper, programmable, near instant finality just adds value to the entire stack.
Right.
And how do we get that flywheel going?
Yes.
So that's kind of where we are right now, where I am. But I'm also just really excited about what everyone else is building.
Sure.
And I think there'll be, closed loop ecosystems that interact. And there are times, for example, if I'm a bank doing a syndicated wind farm deal in Canada, do I need to know everyone in my syndicate? No, that doesn't necessarily need to be on chain.
Right.
But maybe you're trying to settle or do something where now you need to go on chain. Well, how do you do that? And where does travel will come in play and all these different things.
Oh,
so now I'm just really excited about the problems we get to solve.
Sure.
And sometimes I can't believe I get paid to have to think about these problems because I thought about them for free for a very long time. So overall, just really excited.
Let's talk a bit about PYUSD and how it's being used, as much as you can share.
Yeah.
Is it being used behind the scenes for cross-border payments, but users don't necessarily know? For instant settlement, are merchants accepting it and using it as well?
Great question. So PayPal has a Zoom with X cross-border payments business. And, that business is in 180 countries. So we've already integrated PYUSD in a number of flows there.
Wow.
Some where the customers have an understanding. For example, PYUSD is a funding instrument for your Zoom transaction. Okay. Well, now, as opposed to maybe, using bank or balance, etc., utilizing PYUSD, you can fund that transaction at 0 fee, and now you just have the FX. So that's already a benefit to the customer.
Right.
Now, on the other hand, there's a lot of pre-funding in cross-border payments, as I'm sure you're aware of.
Yeah.
So we also have piloted with 2 large partners, one in the Philippines, one in Africa, where now, as opposed to kind of pre-funding via wire, we're able to utilize PYUSD and have near instant funding.
Wow.
And now that allows you to manage your float.
Right.
It's cheaper.
Yes.
Everyone can now pass on that value. So those are just 2 use cases that are real right now.
Sure.
That we are, really trying to make sure that we grow in a responsible way. But again, that's bringing utility.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
to answer your question, yes, it's already happening. And after Genius, and though we don't have rulemaking yet, the signaling of having stablecoin legislation, that right there has really opened the floodgates. So I'm really excited about 2026.
So to your point, PayPal has a massive network, right, of users and merchants. And
Yeah.
been around for a long time. I remember using PayPal back in 2000, right?
And most people don't know we own Venmo.
Yes.
People don't even know that.
So you have the distribution, you have the network built, but are institutions, outside institutions, seeing what you're doing and saying, you know what, I want to use PayPal's stablecoin,
Yes.
PYUSD.
We are getting tons of inbound to collaborate. We believe in partnerships.
Yeah.
Again, there's room for everyone to be successful at this. And we know what we do well.
Right.
So to your question, yes. I mean, we announced even the Coinbase partnership recently, like Spark, etc. But whether it's TradFi, merchants, etc., everyone's trying to figure out now that we have some regulatory clarity.
Yeah.
Well, how do we use this technology to benefit us in treasury operations and things of that nature?
Right.
So yeah, lots of reach out, and that's been really exciting.
It's amazing to see the growth. And one of the things folks wanted me to ask is that you offer crypto assets the ability to buy, sell on both Venmo and PayPal. Are there plans to add more crypto assets as much as you can share?
It's good question. So one, we're always thinking utility.
Yeah.
And again, is it aligned to the value prop that we are trying to execute on,
Sure.
which is revolutionizing commerce? So now, again, we're really focused on PYUSD, and PYUSD is on multi-chain, right? Because they're different chains that have different benefits. So, the short answer is, if it's aligned to the strategy, adding more coins, yes.
Right.
But we are not trying to be an exchange. There are organizations that do that in a fantastic manner.
Oh, yeah.
So we are trying to figure out, how do we integrate PYUSD into Venmo and Braintree and Hyperwallet and all these other products that we have, where we know will bring real value to the ecosystem.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. It has to make business sense, right? Now, there was also a crypto rewards program that PayPal launched. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so rewards are interesting because and it is rewards. It's not interest. It's not yield. If you go into Genius, it's very clear issuers cannot pass along. Though we're not the issuer, Paxos is our issuer. It's our branded and it's co-regulated.
Right.
So what we wanted to do is to be able to, again, bring utility to our ecosystem.
Right.
To get the flywheel going, because ultimately, especially in like the U.S., though there are issues, the system works.
Yes.
But how do you incentivize people to adopt this technology and then see the benefits of that technology?
Right.
So being able to hold PYUSD on Venmo or PayPal and earn a reward, that's utility. So now, and if you're a merchant or a consumer, so now maybe you're a merchant and you want to use the bill pay product, and you are a small business owner and you're paying your utility bills, but you're holding PYUSD, and now you're gaining PYUSD rewards, and then you're paying out, and you're paying out at a lower rate, things of that nature. So we're trying to get that flywheel there. Or again, you are a consumer, and as opposed to maybe sweeping it, immediately to your bank balance, you say, hey, I'd rather hold this, or I want to convert in and out of another digital asset, or I want to go and play in the DeFi market, things of that nature. So we wanted to try to figure out, how can we incentivize our user base to want to hold it? Because as you know, once you hold it, use it, play with it, it starts to make, even my mother. Yeah. Once my mother, if I said, okay, I'm buying you this Bitcoin. Right. Once she got it, now she's like, okay, what's going on here? Yeah. So, stable coins, especially in the US, it's, why do I need it? I can send Venmo, I can use Cash App, etc. Right. But we're really trying to kind of help change that behavior. Yeah. So that way, really, we can start unlocking the value.
One of the things you guys, which is really cool that you guys are launched, was P2P payments with PayPal links. Does that include both crypto assets and PYUSD?
Yep. So, I mean, being able to send that link, it's PYUSD in the digital asset. And again, we're trying to just make it as easy as possible for people to interact and use. Yeah. Again, like it's fascinating. I like to say electricity, whether it's, direct or indirect, and we're not, Tesla, versus, Edison here, but at this point, we just want to turn the light on. Yeah. And PayPal's really good at, you can turn the light on in a simple manner with trust. So we're trying to figure out, how can we integrate the technology as much as possible in a seamless manner that's easy for customers to interact with, that adds value. So we're working through things like that.
It's great. It's amazing how far things have come.
Tony, I truly am blown away.
Yeah,
And I'm so thankful for all the challenges.
sure.
And as a risk and compliance professional, I've had to think of many what could go wrongs that you wouldn't even think of what could go wrong.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that's how you build anti-fragility. And I've worked as a management consultant for a very long time. And the truth of the matter is there's lots of things that go wrong behind the scenes, but maybe blockchain technology, you might not know it.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
So I'm really, really excited. And I think it also aligns with just this overall convergence of where technology is going. I like to say, when people kind of question, they say, well, do we really need this? I say, do you think the world's going to be more analog or digital?
Oh, right.
Do you think an agentic AI or your digital twin is going to send an ACH or dollars or maybe utilize the blockchain? Right?
Exactly.
So if you just kind of play this out,
Right.
it's an overall play for the convergence of all these new technologies coming online. I was in Austin. I'm a big Formula One fan, and I went down to the Grand Prix. And first time I got to drive in in an autonomous vehicle. So my wife and I, we're downtown, we're looking at the city, and oh, wait a minute, this option got in, and I was like, wow. And I thought to myself, the Internet of Things, when these robots and things like that communicate, it's just even more utility that we can't even think about at this moment.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of problems to solve just in what we know.
Yeah, it's fascinating because you have the convergence of all these technologies, AI, robotics, crypto, blockchain, and much more. And eventually when we have these humanoid robots, well, regardless of what they're doing in the economy, they're not going to be using cash.
Not at all.
It's going to be stable coins.
Yeah. And what I love about stable coins, and it's funny because I remember the old days where it was like, I like blockchain, but I don't like the crypto.
Yeah.
But what people don't understand is having the value transfer mechanism aligned to the protocol is the aha for the Web3.
Right.
And it's one of the flaws of Web2.
Right.
Web2 was actually illegal to transact value initially when it was being developed.
Right.
So, you still need those value assets that have incentives for developers, early adopters, and also to kind of, again, maybe pay that gas fee or et cetera. Stablecoins, I think, are the initial killer app of Web3 because it's that true partnership between the fiat world and this Web3 world.
Yeah.
And, as a U.S. citizen, it's a ready-made market for U.S. treasuries in a regulated way. And you can have the proliferation of the U.S. dollar in this tokenized version, again, in a regulated manner. That way, you can keep governments, comfortable, but then also unlock the value for citizens. So, I'm just thankful that we're at this moment where the real world in that Web3 world that we've been looking at all these years are really starting to merge.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and it's moving at such a rapid pace.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And I can't imagine when the Clarity Act is passed, the amount of innovation that's going to happen.
100%. Because ultimately, it's fascinating. There was this notion of everyone was a renegade, and it just was not true.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, you want sensible regulation. You want to work closely with your regulatory and government partners.
Right.
Because if we don't have clear rules of the road, then how do you innovate in a responsible manner?
Right.
And you don't want the systemic risk to just be so residually high that it's unbearable.
Right.
So now that we're starting to get this sensible legislation around the world, now you can build a strategic moat around how do you execute upon it and then innovate simultaneously. And then I'll throw one more thing out there to the viewers. It's not only is it how do you adhere to the regulations in your particular jurisdiction, but how do you manage the other regimes, et cetera? Because this is a globally adopted, initiative.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's fascinating. The governments are going to have to align on their regulations, and figure out how to treat all these things.
Yeah, and that's tough. But again, that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you partner with your regulators? How do you help educate them?
Right.
As more sensible regulations come online, you start to see hey, okay, well, in this part of the world they're using this. This makes sense. So maybe we could do that.
Right.
So I think we're still very early, but at least now we know that the tailwinds are there. Where before it's been headwinds for the last 5+ years easily.
Oh yeah. So as much as you can, what's on the roadmap that you can highlight that PayPal's going to do with crypto or PYUSD?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you wholeheartedly, and as you listen to our CEO Alex Chris, we want to revolutionize commerce. We want to unlock the value of our network. This digital asset revolution is important. I can tell you it is a important initiative at PayPal. Specifically, how do we unlock the value of PYUSD?
Sure.
So I think you'll see a lot of innovation where we are integrating PYUSD into core activities that we were not before, but it's allowing for faster, cheaper, etc. And then on top of that, how do you unlock the value around the world? Again, very hard problem, not easy, but it's a challenge that everyone's looking at. And, we're definitely looking at that as well, because again, we're in 200 countries and how do we unlock value for all of our customers?
Oh, for sure. There was something that happened. I have to ask you about it.
Sure.
It's with Paxos when they accidentally minted, a 300 trillion or something PYUSD. Now, I understood the benefit of that whatever happened there, we all got to see at the same time. We got to see when it was fixed. Yeah. Versus if that happened at JP Morgan, nobody knows.
Tony, thank you for saying that. And it's interesting. Problems occur when you innovate. Yeah. Problems occur when you are BAU.
Yeah.
And to your point, and no customer funds were harmed.
Right.
This was, Paxos owned it immediately. We spoke. It was fixed in less than 20 minutes. But because that kind of error happened on chain, the world got to see it. Yeah. Whereas an error, in the TradFi, you wouldn't see it in a closed database. Right. But yeah, was it something that was fun for the moment? No. Yeah. Is it a great learning lesson for everyone? Yeah. Did all of our regulatory partners and other partners ask what happened? Yes. Are we working really closely with Paxos to make sure that we continue to shore up all the controls and improve and understand all the what could go wrongs? Yes. Yeah. But it was a moment. We're past it. Wasn't fun, but long term, selfishly as a risk and compliance person, I'm glad that we can continue to build, innovate, and again, no customer funds were harmed, anything like that.
Right. This was just at the issuer, but the great thing is, and I keep reminding people, it's not that the error happened. Humans make mistakes
all the time.
But the point is, for the first time in history, we were able to all see it, and that's the power of the blockchain.
100%.
And then it could be fixed right away, burned right away.
Yep. And as an open source stablecoin, being able to have that transparency. Yeah. I mean, how is that? Yeah, it's not a negative, really. Yeah. It's just, again, it's error, but there are errors everywhere.
Yeah. Every day.
100%.
As long as humans are involved, there's going to be.
You got it, my friend.
But the technology's here where we have the trust, we have the transparency, we have the ability to address it right away. So that's really great. What are you most excited about for 2026, for the crypto industry?
Yeah, I'm excited for rulemaking to come for Genius. I think that's going to unlock a lot of value because we have the legislation, but we don't have the rulemaking yet.
Right.
Though, if you look at NYDFS Part 200, for example, there's a robust regime for stablecoins there. What I do know of being in risk management for 20 plus years in this space is that best practices are leveraged. Yeah. So trying to kind of get ahead of all of that. Definitely the market, clarity, looking forward to that.
For sure.
I mean, my goodness, what's a commodity? What's this? How do we have the rules so we can now integrate this more into real world activities?
Sure.
How does the world come together and start unlocking value? How does this overlap with AI?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see all of this because I think we're hitting a point in the curve where we're going to see some exponential changes. I use ChatGPT 5 every single day, right? If you would have said that 2 years ago, no way, right? So, what's on the horizon given we're in this exponential moment? I'm looking forward to that.
It's exciting, man.
It really is.
It's exciting. A follow-up question. Is PayPal looking to use AI in any way, AI agents and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to our CEO and what's been spoken, we are trying to figure out how to utilize, AI in a responsible manner to unlock value for our customers. Absolutely. Wow. I don't know any organization that's not.
Sure,
but if you think about just, our two-sided network, the data, the ability to, again, benefit merchants and consumers, it's something I think everyone's looking at. And obviously, we are as well.
I'm going to have you back on to have a longer form conversation because I'm fascinated by what PayPal is doing as, one of the leaders in the payment industry. And there's still more to go here.
Absolutely.
And the innovation, I'm looking forward to the future innovations, but thank you so much for joining me.
No problem. It was a pleasure.
This episode is brought to you by VeChain. VeChain is one of the top layer 1 enterprise blockchains in the crypto asset class, and they are getting adoption by many big brands and companies around the world who are building Web3 and decentralized application technologies. I've been a VET token holder for many years. In fact, I started investing in VeChain back in 2018. And some of the key features of the VeChain blockchain includes it's secure, affordable, scalable, fast, and sustainable. Some of the companies and brands working with VeChain include Givenchy, Walmart China, BMW, Boston Consulting Group, and many more. Most recently, they partnered with Dana White in the UFC, and Dana White even said recently that he purchased over $1 million of the VET token. And VeChain also recently launched staking, where you can stake the VET token and earn great rewards. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vchain.org. Link will be in the description.